Oh, exactly. And I don't know if somebody gets the reference, but like a lot of the time it's like that hadith. उस हदीस का reference दे दिया जाता है कि जिस जगह पे like उस्ताद की मार पड़ती है वहाँ पे like दोज़ख की आग हराम होती है. What the f-? Like, but they... I've heard that all my life.
Highly controversial statement of the day. That's so funny.
Yeah, and one of my teachers just went like that, and she was like, "यार तुम उस्ताद की जो ना पता नहीं," she was like, "पता नहीं इनका कॉल है तो ये है वो है कि उस्ताद की जब तक तुम जूतियां नहीं चाटोगे तो ये होगा ना." And I was like, "यार, what the heck?" Like,
okay, that's another level.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Popcord. We are 29 episodes strong right now, and if you like our content, if you like the podcast, and you want to listen to more, please make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to us. We also really appreciate new reviews, so if you can add a review for us, that'd be great. This episode is quite exciting. I feel like I say that for every episode, but especially this one, because we had 5 guests on this episode, actually. And I'll walk through those 5 guests in a bit. The topic for this episode is night owls. So I noticed that a lot of Pakistanis, especially within the ages of 15 to 22 within Pakistan, they stay up quite late, almost as if they're following the North American time zones. We got on a voice channel, started talking about this, and I noticed this would be a really good podcasting topic. So I went ahead and started recording, and we talked for quite a while. So the 5 members that we have today are, number 1, Muskaan, 18 years old from Islamabad. Amaan is 19 years old, and he's from Islamabad as well. We have Hime, she's 18 years old from Karachi. We have Sami, he's 18 years old from Karachi as well. And then we have Saif, 23 years old from London. Many of them hadn't even spoken for the first time yet. Okay, so you guys don't know Muskaan yet.
Hi, guys.
No. Hello, Muskaan.
And honestly, I guess a lot of us are talking for the first time. You guys do know Hime.
Yeah, I know Hime.
Well,
Okay. And that made the conversation quite interesting. We started this conversation at exactly 3 o'clock in the morning, Pakistan time, and we ended right around Fajr time. And so the timing was very appropriate, and this was a very good discussion. Hope you like it. So we'll start off with Muskaan and her sleeping habits, and then we'll go through each of the other people.
I'm the kind of person that can stay up like 3 nights in a row. And I am like clinically diagnosed with insomnia, and I've just been, sleeping ever since. जब भी VC कर रहे होते हो, I'm like मेरी उसी time पे आँख लगती है, and the next day I'm like, I see Red's messages like सुबह उठ के. So that
sort of
sucks.
therapy, I suppose. Then
It sucks.
It's funny for me because on days where I don't need to sleep and whatnot, I can be up all night and all day. But like as example for today, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. By 1:30ish, I was about to doze off. I was on the verge of like sleeping. I don't know why, but
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty late. Wait, it's you're in Pakistan too, right?
yeah, I'm in Pak.
thing is, it's not like Pakistan's problem. Like every teenager has this problem.
Very true,
So-
but not. I don't
We're
know.
gonna talk about
Yeah,
The problem was saying,
I see a trend of kids within Pakistan, like Hime, Muskaan, like you're just staying up all night, following like the North American time zone, and that's really interesting to me.
like a worldwide
No,
teenage
really.
problem. It's
Mm.
more of genetics. Like a lot of people do it.
Mhm.
In all of my research I was doing, that there were quite a lot of people internationally and quite
Mhm.
older that were night owls. So it's not
Mhm.
basically a
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know about research or anything, but I do like, I started noticing myself that, okay, what suits me better? When can I be like my most productive? Because right now I'm like in the
Exactly.
last months of my like high school in second year, it's kind of like, work. So I like wanted to figure out this optimum time that that my mind is the most like, most awake and I can work.
Right.
So that's when I did. I was like, I tried waking up early and like sleeping like on time and stuff. It didn't work. Like I just could not, my mind just stopped, like refused to work in the morning. Can I talk in Urdu or like, is it just English?
Yeah. No, Urdu, English.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So like when I woke at 9 a.m. something like Fajr, I'm very like regular with my prayers. So even if I don't sleep all night and it's like 20 minutes, I like fall asleep like 20 minutes before Fajr, I have to get up for Fajr.
Mashallah.
Like, yeah, I have to get up for Fajr.
Yeah.
So like even if it's 20 minutes, I'm gonna put an alarm कि यार मैंने Fajr किसी तरह से नहीं miss करनी. So that's the thing.
Do you guys all relate to that? The Fajr part?
No, we actually don't.
No, I do.
I'm actually no.
Okay.
No, I'm not really religious to begin with, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the boys most of the time that we don't pray at all. Like, look at me. Like, me and Amaan, we're like, no,
Yeah.
we're not there.
I don't think it's anything to do with boys, but
nah. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't call myself religious, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it was like when I'm staying up at night, I feel a lot more freedom towards myself because when I'm up, I have a lot of people going in and out of the house, and my family's up, and more often than not, we have guests over and everything. So it's you never really have too much time to yourself, and you can never really get some peace and quiet around the house, and during the day at least. That incentivizes me just to stay up more later at night because nobody else is up. It's just me. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to worry about like, oh, somebody's gonna come walking into my room,
that sounds
disturbing
wrong,
me or
Amaan.
anything.
That's a very good point.
And
Yeah. Do you guys come from big families? Amaan, how big is your family?
I have like my family's like as big as 5 people, but 90% of the time, we usually have our mamus and khalas coming in almost every other day. So it's like in the house on like in a week, every 4 days or so, we have like roughly 10, 11 people inside the house at all times. So it gets really hectic and crazy for the most part.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was saying. Like, seriously, like you can focus a lot on work and stuff like at night because like nobody's there to like disturb you or anything. So that's when like my mind, just talking from my perspective, my mind is like the most focused. So that's why I just prefer to work at night and just stay up and get my work right done. And I can sleep all day, like nobody's there, like especially for me, like I'm privileged enough, nobody like okay, main hu, do I exist? No, it's fine. Like they know I'm like most of the time I'm just buried in my room, so they just let me stay like that, so that's cool.
Wow. Okay. So you guys are recording right now, all of you guys, right? And it's Pakistan, like, what is it, 2 o'clock in the morning right now? 2:45 maybe?
2:45,
It's
yeah.
almost 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like the devil's hour. This is when the jinns come out, apparently.
It makes sense to do it at this time, considering.
Yeah, the question is, are your parents getting disturbed right now while you're talking? Or do you have to like keep your voice low? Or
No.
what is it?
No, nothing like that because my room is like on the complete opposite end of the house. My parents sleep upstairs. I sleep downstairs. I'm the only one who's downstairs at all, actually. So, and my room's pretty far away from the rest of the family.
Yeah.
So like I can speak comfortably and I don't have to worry about anyone waking up or anything. I mean, obviously I can't yell or anything like that when I'm playing video games or like I'm on VC or anything like that, but I can talk at a moderately loud voice and it should be fine.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, my mom is used to like me like talking to people at night because like the reason I give her is like, oh, people have different time zones and they can't always adjust to my time zone, and that she was like, whatever. So yeah, that helps.
No, that doesn't happen with my mom. She's so different.
But she doesn't get disturbed because like a bee right now, like the fan and when the fan is on, it's like the echo is pretty much like damp, so that helps.
Sam, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was saying that my mom is like way different than Muskaan's mom. My mom's like, first off, why are you talking to them? Like, she doesn't care if their time zone is different. She doesn't like really give a crap. And she's like you gotta look at your studies and like you look at your sleep and stuff. I just had an argument with my mom 20 minutes ago about this thing.
You can sense this in Sam's voice.
Yeah, you can tell.
He's given up.
Yeah.
रात के 3 बजे हुए, मैं आपको भी बताता हूँ बड़ा मसला हो रहा है यहाँ पे.
Yeah. Like मैंने उनको पता था कि भाई मैं रात को आज मतलब मैंने वैसे ही लेट बैठ के पढ़ना है and I've got this thing to do with the podcast and everything. And मैंने बस क्या किया है कि I just took my blanket and came in this room and I'm gonna be like, I'm sleeping in this room today. And she just came in this room and she just out and she was like, ये क्या किया तुमने और ये वो पता नहीं क्या. And I was like, यार रात को इस वक्त चिल्लाना शुरू कर दिया आपने, मतलब अब तो पढ़ने का भी मूड नहीं है, अब ये नहीं है वो नहीं है. और मतलब जब मैंने आके मैसेज किया ना यहाँ पे ग्रुप पे, and I like मैंने ये सोच के आया था कि okay, this is gonna be over. Okay, I'm not gonna be there today. I'm just gonna say sorry, man. I can't do it today. I'm not in the mood. I can't do it now. But like,
but you're still on.
yeah.
Am I the only one जिसके घर पे कोई podcast का पी भी नहीं पता? Like,
नहीं, that's the same at my place as well.
Yeah, same at mine.
किसी को कुछ भी नहीं पता इसके बारे में.
yeah,
I
like
think my brothers know, not my.
I think my brother does know, but
Oh, my brother was like, you gotta tell me the name. I'm gonna listen to your podcast and everything.
Muskaan, going back on what you said, right? Ke, about the adjusting your time schedule part. I hear that so much from my mom. Ke, wo tumhare time schedule ke mutabik adjust kare. Don't adjust to theirs. I've heard that so many times from them.
यार पता है क्या, they also adjust to my time like most of the time. We have proportions and she knows that a lot of time, but like Discord जो है ना, इसको मैं उसी की आड़ में ले जाती हूँ. हाँ, फ्रेंड से बात कर रही हूँ, आपको पता तो है मेरे फ्रेंड से. Like I have friends from other than Pakistan, right? So like
yeah,
that just helps. Like उनको पता है, और काफी ज्यादा friends ऐसे family friends भी हैं, तो उनको पता है कि मैं उनसे बात कर रही हूँ. And वो मिली है, like if my mom is like, she's stopped being possessive. Like a lot of them, like मुझे पता है काफी ऐसे लोग होते हैं जिनकी mothers like जैसे Sam है, तो like बहुत ज्यादा nag करते हैं. But for me, like it's just been like since I've turned 18, like legit pitched April 2018 से. She's just stopped. I don't know why, but it's like mostly just to make me accountable. That make me make more serious, decisions and stuff like that. So yeah, it's mostly about that. Like she just makes me accountable. कि अब अगर तुम time waste कर रही हो, अगर तुम सुबह मतलब इस hour तक जाग रही हो, तुमने कल college जाना है, तो अगला जो नुकसान है वो तुम्हारा है. Nothing's like मेरा कुछ नहीं जा रहा. So she just makes that known.
हाँ, जब मेरे अम्मी अबू से ये बात होती है ना कि like कि तुम क्यों जागे हो सारा कुछ, right? It's the thing I learned from dealing with my parents was that if I'm persistent enough in whatever I want, and like even if they're getting mad at me and I'm still persistent on what I want to do, they'll give up on like trying to change like anything about me. So as an example with sleeping, I would be up all night for like months on end, and obviously my parents were not in favor of that. They disliked it, and I never stopped it. Eventually they just gave up on it, and I told them कि अगर आखिर में मेरा सारा काम हो रहा है और आखिर में जब मैं फारिग हूँ और मेरा पूरा का पूरा काम हुआ है and there's nothing to worry about and I'm perfectly fine, then why should there be an issue that I'm staying up at night?
Exactly.
Like even if I'm sleeping during the day, even if I am sleeping during the day, my work's completed it. I don't have any problems in my studies or anything like that. So what's the problem with staying up at night if everything's done? And eventually when I started like using that excuse up more and more on them, they eventually just got used to it, and now they don't really care. Now I can like, even right now, it's 2:51 a.m. I have an exam in legit 6 hours. But they're not stopping me. Like,
so yeah, you're doing well, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, dedication. Yeah. Dedication in the wrong thing. Yeah, essentially.
most of the Desi parents are like that. They go like, यार मतलब क्यों जाग रहे हो? Why are you मतलब waking up? Even if you've done all of your work, why are you waking up at night? Like उनके पास कोई reason नहीं होता कि तुम्हें बोलें कि चलो सही है तुम उठे रहो, तुम्हारी मर्जी है. लेकिन फिर भी they just go like that. कोई रीजन नहीं उसका.
वो भी एटीट्यूड का मसला होता है ना कि लाइक अक्सर पेरेंट्स ऐसे होते हैं, आप उनको जो भी रीजन दे दो वो नहीं आपकी बात सुनेंगे. They're gonna be like, no, I'm right, you're wrong, shut up. And that's exactly how they're gonna be. With me, with my parents, if I give them reason, logic, वो सुनेंगे. तो अब जैसे like that, some people they don't listen. Like I've seen so many people, actually most of the people they don't. So like I just feel blessed कि my parents actually listen to reason. And like जब मेरा काम हो रहा है, आप जितने errands दे रहे हैं, मेरे सारे errands complete है, सारी to do list complete है, तो आप अब बताएं, पिन पॉइंट करें आप किस बात पे वो कर सकते हैं. And then they're like, whatever. वो चुप हो जाते हैं आगे से. So yeah.
I think in the end, it's just a matter of proving to them that that it's like, if you have everything under control, then it shouldn't be a concern to them of what you do with your time. Because like, even if I'm getting 5 hours of sleep, it's up to me, right? It's my choice in the end. Like, I get that whole they're looking after you whole shenanigan and all, but quite frankly, it's my life in the end. Like, I can choose what I want to do with it. So I can I can go to sleep for 5 hours, but as long as I'm bringing you guys results like, oh, hey, look, my GPA for university is keeping up, I'm still going to social events and everything like that. It shouldn't be an issue. But that's the only difficult part with Desi parents, is getting to that point, because Desi parents growing up in the environment that they have is completely different from us. Like, we have a lot more incentives to stay up and whatnot. Like, let's face it, we have all this technology, phones, gaming, you can be watching a show and all. Our parents, when they were growing up, they didn't have those incentives, so they don't really see the reason to stay up late at night.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say
they can be like, oh,
great point.
They can be like, oh, you can just watch these things during the day. But what our parents don't understand is that our education is a lot more complex at this point. At least from what I've seen, like from the education standards my parents had to what I had, I've had a lot more workload than them. And what they don't seem to understand is that in the day, I can't take out time to enjoy myself. Thus, I have to resort that enjoyment or that me time for late at night, so that, get to enjoy myself even a bit more. Because if I don't get to do that, I don't want to grow up being a working slave 24/7 who just gets up, works, studies, eats, sleeps, and that's it. Like, I don't want to do that. And if that means I have to risk a few hours of my sleep, then so be it. I don't really mind.
Yeah, I think the schedule thing before technology, it's possible most people did not really have a reason to stay up at night. And that's the time when our parents were growing up, basically. So they don't remember a time where they actually had to stay up late because there was nothing else to do, All you could do is just sleep at night. Ratko, telephone was a new thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we're talking on Discord. We can play games at night, all sorts of things. You can still access the world from your bedroom. That kind of scares them too, I guess. They're not used to it. I guess it opens up doors for their kids to like do all sorts of bad things. And they're aware of that part at least. And that's what scares them potentially. That's where the fear is coming from, I think. Desi parents are always resistant to like change and different lifestyles. So I mean, it takes time.
It varies from Desi parents to Desi parents, but when it comes to like, of course, like when I was talking, my parents didn't know about Discord for the longest time when I was using it, or any other real social media platform when I was using it. One app that I used to use a lot was Omegle, back in the day, but I was just, I know Omegle was a complete hellhole. I don't know why I was on that.
What is that?
But Omegle is essentially, it's a lot worse than you think. It's a lot worse than I'm about to describe it. It's essentially a website where you can completely meet a complete random stranger. Now you could do this over text or video.
Like,
don't recommend video ever.
Right.
I think I know.
I know that. I know that from a YouTube video.
Yeah. But
me too, from a YouTube video.
You can meet a lot of like colorful people there, I guess.
Oh,
yeah,
most of them are
colorful people.
That's one way of saying it.
I'm trying to keep it podcast friendly here.
Is it kind of like there used to be a popular website several years ago, Chat Roulette?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Where you could just webcam with people. That was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, no, that's essentially Omegle for you now. But my parents didn't know about this and whatnot. And of course, the idea to meeting new people online, especially when it came to video gaming as well, like kiske saath khel rahe ho game, or ye sara kuch, and I would say, oh, it's Michael from the US. They'd be like, who the hell is Michael? And then they'd get worried. And of course, to them, it's a completely foreign concept, because in the era that they were growing up, the only way to communicate to someone with from the other side of the world would be either letters or like, or maybe, telephone calls and whatnot. But so this whole concept to them is rather strange and alien to them, and they're worried for us in that sense. So I can understand why my parents would be a bit concerned of me using Discord. Amaan, don't send your details out there. You never know who's going to pick it up, and you never know who can do what with it. So I can understand their concerns as well.
Explain Amigo to your parents.
Did I have to Omegle?
That'd be super creepy. I don't think any way you try to tell that it's gonna come out right.
That would be
No, because there is no way you can like sugarcoat her basically. Because you'd be like, okay, you would get like matched with a woman, right, or a girl, wherever. And if you switch, you'll probably like get matched with like a shirtless Indian dude just sitting in his bed, because that's literally what like happened.
Well, yeah.
And some of them, could get really, really creepy.
Really, really creepy.
Wow. Looks like all of you are familiar with this, huh? Muskaan, are you familiar with this?
With Amigo, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like from a video, but yeah, I've never used it.
Yeah, I saw a YouTube video.
Oh, okay.
It's actually you guys don't know this maybe, but it's actually unavailable in Pakistan now. They've legitimately banned.
Even if it was available, I would most likely never use it.
Not use it.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
That's a smart move.
Well, you could probably still VPN into it, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah, but why would you want to?
You can. You don't want to. It's
how desperate
actually not worth it.
do you want to be? I'm a bit older than you guys, right? So, like, when Xbox Live first came out, I think it was around 2003. And back then, at least, that was the first console that had, like, chat. You could actually put on a headset and talk to people. And that part was so weird to me that I never spoke to people unless my house was completely empty. I was just embarrassed to talk to people. Even though, like, I could clearly have told my parents, like, hey, it's just random people on the internet that I'm playing games with, or my friends from high school. But, it just sounded embarrassing for some reason to even say a word. So
Exactly. I mean, like, isn't that just creepy when you say it out loud? Oh, I'm talking to random people on the internet, or like I'm gaming with random people. The word, like,
especially back then, it was so new.
It's not as weird these days, to be honest. It's not as weird these days.
Not anymore, I think.
Not anymore, yeah, true. Except Discord still looks like it's dark web, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it does. It's literally dark. So
Even going back to like staying up at night, when it comes to using my phone and whatnot, I think my parents are more or less just concerned about what I'm doing, like up at night. Because I've had conversations with my parents where they're like, Amaan, are you doing drugs at night? And I have to like sit down and explain to them, like, nahi, mama, is tarah ka kuch scene nahi hai, mere paas koi cocaine nahi hai.
Drugs to मैं दिन के time भी कर सकता हूँ.
I tell you, you can say that. Like, if I wanted to hide and do it from you, I could do it during the day.
Dark and people just make assumptions.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you had issues like that, Hime, with like explaining to your parents?
Yeah, they do think that I'm just wasting my time when I'm up at night, and that I'm doing it on purpose, and that I'm just trying to escape the daylight and not be social or anything. But it's not that. It's just me waking up at night, doing my own thing.
It's just a lot easier at night when you have nobody around to disturb you like you do during the day. It's easier to get work done as well. Like for me, when I'm trying to study and stuff, and my little brother and sister just keep walking in and bothering me, I can't focus on my work because I'll be distracted. If they don't call me in, then my mom will be like, Amaan, ye aake flan kaam kar lo, ya wo kar lo, ya Amaan wahan pe jaake markaz pe jaake ye karo. And at night, I don't have to worry about that because everyone's asleep. I can just sit down and, play some music, just relax and just study on my own. And I found myself doing a lot more better in studies when I'm actually studying at night because I'm focusing more on it.
But sometimes when my dad wakes up in the middle of the night to go to like toilet or whatever, he does like, just knock on my door and tell me to go to sleep.
Oh, he actually knocks?
Like, yeah, no, I mean, not sometimes it's just like...
My parents had no sense of privacy growing up, man.
Yeah, no, neither did mine. My dad would like walk in, even if my door's locked.
Actually, most of the time he doesn't. Most of the time he doesn't, but not like I'm doing anything I want to hide, so...
True,
yeah.
Yeah.
My parents didn't until I made a scene one day.
I know.
Really? What did you do?
I have like aggression issues, so like I kind of got spin out of control. And like there was this one time my sister just walked in and she was like, "Dinner?" I'm like, "You, like you should." Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Get the out of my room," and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Get out of my room," and then she's like, "Okay." She went out, and I go out. Steel ka glass hai mere haath mein, and I literally like मैंने वो फेंका legit, and it just missed my mom. मैंने वो फेंका, मैंने कहा आज के बाद किसी ने मेरे कमरे का दरवाजा नहीं नॉक किया ना, कसम से मैं अपनी जान ले लूंगी. And it's like, oh, it was just, like in a fit of anger, and I just, slammed the door and अंदर आके बैठ गई. And that day onwards, legit हर कोई मेरे घर के.
How did you get your ass whooped at that time?
Yeah, honestly, if I did that, I'd get my
Right.
I'd get kicked out.
बड़ी modern families हो गई हैं.
That's because my parents know I have aggression. So yeah.
Yeah, like my dad would like buy a whipcord just to whip my ass at that time.
Yeah, actually, same.
No, it's more about like my parents know about my aggression issues, right? So that's just one thing, because they know that I've done shit like that. Because like there was this one time I broke a tile, like got myself injured, and that's just it. They're like, you know what, she can do shit, just ignore maro. So they just do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, if like Muskaan was at my house or something, like my sister, she said that to my mom, or any like typical Punjabi mom that I know would be like, "Mar ja fir, kuch nahi hota," and dismiss it. They don't even think twice about. Like over here, people call the suicide hotline and all sorts of stuff, precautionary measures, and in Pakistan it's just like, "मैं आप छोड़ के आऊँगी, मैं आप तेरी कब्र खोदांगी."
They're really quick to jump to those.
No, seriously, but that's only to the like मुंह से बोलने वाली बात तक रह जाता है ना, कि like nobody actually, आप सब मुंह से बोलते हो मैं मर जाऊंगी, घर छोड़ के चले जाऊंगी, ये कर लूंगी, वो कर लूंगी, but you never actually do it. वो तो सिर्फ उसके like moment के उसमें आके. For me, like मेरे साथ 2-4 ऐसे incidents हुए हैं कि like I actually went and did those things, and my mom was like, okay, you're you know what, you took it way too far, and like yeah.
So they're just a bit cautious of that. Yeah.
मैं तो इस तरह से अपने अबू के सामने बात ही नहीं कर सकता. Like one time it was just late at night. I was mad I was playing a game, and I got mad because I kept losing, and I was like, okay, you know what? I exited my room. I didn't even say anything. I just shut my door really hard. Not even 10 seconds had passed. My dad walks in the room, slapped me across the face, like आराम से दरवाजा बंद किया.
Oh, how old were you, Amaan?
This was like when I was 16. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No, yeah, that's yeah, you deserve that one.
What do you mean I deserve that?
Well, when you're 16, you
She threw
deserve
a
it.
glass and had nothing said to her. I slammed my door and I got slapped. You think
No,
that's okay?
Amaan, this is a sexist society, Amaan.
My dad would never talk to me because like dad के साथ एक एक वो होता है, पता नहीं, या मेरा है एक relation dad के साथ थोड़ा, मतलब वो एक आपको एक place पे रहना पड़ता है, एक specific like उस पे रहना पड़ता है, like you can never goof around dad. So
well, fathers and daughters often have different relationships.
Yeah,
mom and
exactly.
daughters.
I think the worst incident I can recall from staying up at night actually happened around last year. I was now around last year. I when I was with my friends, I would occasionally maybe just do shisha or something. Like I would just like hang out with my friends. If they're doing it, I'll do it too. And what my friend did was that I tried smoking for the first time with them, and it was fine and all. He gave me a cig to take home, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll try it out when I get home. I waited I had that thing with me for like a month. I never did it. And the one night I was looking at it. I was like, oh, you know what? I might as well give it a shot. I took it out. I lit it up in my room. And I was like midway through it, and my mom walked in and she saw me with my in my hand. And I was like, shit. And ever since then, she's always been skeptical of me, smoking at night or whatever. But whenever she comes in the room to check or anything, there's never any smoke or anything, so it's all good. But that was bad. I got a 2-hour lecture at 2 a.m. from her, and it was just about how I'm throwing my life away by staying up at night and doing this. So it wasn't the prettiest thing in the world.
Yeah, especially after keeping it a month, the one day you'd actually decide to smoke it.
That's unfortunate.
I know, the thing was, right, it was I just thought, okay, oh, you know what? It's been a long day. It was a really stressful day for me because I had given my exams. I'd come home and I was like, you know what? Everyone's tired. I'm the only one up. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. And as soon as I whipped it out, I lit it up, went halfway through, and my mom walks in. Amaan, beta. She just looks at me, eye contact. I'm just like,
Oh, there's one more fun fact. My dadi used to do like shisha and stuff because like she was a very heavy smoker. So like in our house, like nobody really says कि like कोई मना नहीं करता. Like if like not smoking, but like shisha वगैरह तो कोई मना नहीं करता. वो कहता it's like a tradition like गांव में यहाँ नहीं, but like it's a tradition after dinner or something like आपकी पूरी महफिल लगती है and like the whole family sits and you do shisha and
हाय मजे हाय
so you do that. So there was this one time ईद की रात को कौन सोता है यार तो like चांद रात थी और चांद रात पे सही लगी हुई थी महफिल and like और वो भी गांव में उताक में तो like खैर तो that happened and like I went into the room and my mom is there and like yes we smoked and my mom is there and she's just she personally तो जाहिर सी बात है parent dislike करते हैं ना वो वहाँ पे सोई भी थी and like because you gotta share rooms like गांव में तो like I went और मैं उनके साथ जाके लेटी सोने के लिए और क्योंकि मेरे पास से smell आ रही थी she was like she turned the other way and she slapped me so hard she was like कहाँ से आ रही हो तुम like कहाँ से आ रही हो क्या करके आ रही हो तुम I'm like क्या करके आ रही हूँ and it was like कोई मना नहीं करता है मतलब आप बड़ों के सामने कर सकते हो like because वो क्या दो चार बार किसी ने बोला था ना कि like दादी करती थी तो हमें क्यों रखते हो तो उसके बाद किसी ने रोकना ही छोड़ दिया तो like उसके बाद like and I got whooped so bad. I was like 14 back then. I got whooped so bad and then she's like उसके बाद तुमने ऐसा कोई काम किया ना मार दूंगी and I'm like okay, cool. And after that, like, oh shit, I never walk past her if I have anything on me, legit.
So Amaan, you've been whooped. Muskaan has been whooped.
Oh yeah.
Sam, I know, has been whooped. Saif, have you been whooped as well by your parents?
Whooped in general or because
like at least once or slapped or something,
Just once, like.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're funny, so you've been whooped.
Yeah. And Hime?
No, actually.
Okay.
By neither of my parents. No.
What?
Actually, my mom is pretty chill. My mom is pretty chill, but like I can't tell my dad these sort of things. But he doesn't really, whoop me.
So for the most part, the tradition is still alive of Pakistani parenting.
Very
the
well
methods
alive.
of discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That is
That's like never going away though.
Pakistani parents will not care what situation you are in to whoop your ass. That's the thing.
I swear to God.
I've been at my friend's house, and there's been like 12 of us friends like chilling at his place. He would break a glass, and we'd see his mom storm in and just slap him across the face. Like they don't care. You could be in the most public environment, and they will not hesitate and like backhand.
Oh, Pakistani parents in tradition are like yeehaw. They don't care. They don't give a damn. They're just gonna go and just do it.
Let me tell you a story about like me getting. मैंने अभी नमाज का जिक्र किया था, like how I actually got used to it. Oh, that's such a funny story. I was in the gymnasium and like I didn't like my mom. वो मुझे बोलती थी घर में बोलती थी बेटा नमाज पढ़. This is when I was 10, right? मुझे बोलती थी नमाज वगैरह पढ़ो, and I'm like okay mom पढ़ती हूँ उनके सामने जो भी है एक दो रकात पढ़ ली whatever, and but I never used to do it in school, right? So this one day I was in the gymnasium. I was like football practice चल रही थी. I was like I was the goalkeeper, right? So she walks in from behind. 12 बज रहे हैं 12 साढ़े 12 and I'm like mom what are you doing at school and it's like she's all in this niqab and stuff. My mom does parda, right? So like she's kind of religious, so she's like in this parda and all, and she बहुत ज़्यादा school affairs में इतना पढ़ती नहीं थी. वो बजी देखते थे. Like mom never used to like get into school affairs that much. लेकिन she walks in and dad के PA के साथ she walks into the gymnasium मेरे पीछे से and she's like बेटा नमाज पढ़िए. I'm like and I freaked out.
God.
And I freaked. Okay, this is embarrassing. Your mom is right behind you in the gymnasium, and you're playing. And like, वो आपसे पूछ के ये पूछ रही है कि आपने नमाज पढ़ी है. And I'm like, mom, you're freaking like this is freaking embarrassing. Just go home. मैं नमाज पढ़ लूँगी ये वो. And then she's like, I'm trying to be smart with her, right? She's like, बेटे आपने अगले 10 मिनट में नमाज के लिए नहीं जाके खड़े हुए हो ना. तो ये आप है, ये मैं और ये मेरी जूती है. And then
Oh no.
I'm like,
वहीं पे गोल के सामने ही पड़ रहे हैं जवान नमाज बजा के.
yo, उनके हाथ में ब्लॉक हील पहने हुई थी उन्होंने, and then she's like, और मैं legit, I was like, you know, I was taking it so lightly. I was like, mom, अगर 10 मिनट में आप यहाँ से नहीं गई है ना, because like I had like my mom is like casual with me, right? तो मुझे नहीं लगा था she was that serious. So like मैंने कहा mom 10 मिनट में आप नहीं गए ना, मैंने आपसे बात नहीं कर दिया, मैं भूख हड़ताल पे चली जाऊंगी. She's like, बेटा ये 10 मिनट है, ये आप है, ये मैं हूँ, ठीक है? 10 मिनट चले गए, हो गया 10 मिनट. Oh shit. And I'm like waiting, like सामने से बॉल आ रही है और मैं बॉल के, and वो पीछे खड़ी नहीं है, मैंने कहा खड़ी रहे, चली जाएंगी, ऐसे ही चली जाएगी. यार उस दिन जो मुझे पड़ी ना, लाइक मुझे सही नील पड़े हुए थे, लाइक ब्लॉक हील उठा के उन्होंने मुझे मेरे फ्रेंड्स के सामने, मेरे पीटी टीचर के सामने.
Oh no.
Oh God. वो दिन मुझे नहीं, सारे स्कूल को याद रहा. और वो दिन आज का दिन दोबारा एक नमाज नहीं छूटी मुझसे. I'm like नहीं, like नमाज कभी नहीं छोड़नी. और उसी दिन मैंने वो टूटे लाइक लग रहा कि मैं चल रही थी और उस दिन मैंने नमाज पढ़ी. एंड आफ्टर दैट लाइक मेरे पीटी टीचर मुझे दूसरी किसी क्लास में, मेरी क्लास हो रही होती थी, वो मुझे क्लास से बुला के कहते थे बेटा इधर आओ, ऑफिस में पहले नमाज पढ़ो, इससे पहले आपकी अम्मा आपको कत्ल करते. फिर जाओ. तो
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, that's one way to get used to namaz.
हाँ, पाकिस्तानी पेरेंट्स के पास जो है ना कोई बहुत से तरीके हैं to get you doing anything they want. Actually,
Yeah, I swear.
they will go to extreme lengths. And the thing I love about Pakistani parents is, and what I'm still trying to learn, is that they can make a weapon out of anything.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
I remember once मैं बाहर खड़ा हुआ था, and we were using this ripped shirt, right? Because basically what was happening was that the wickets kept falling down. We were playing cricket, but so what we decided to do was we used this ripped shirt to tie the wickets together so that it just stays somewhat standing. My parents came outside. Now they had nothing. Like they could have gone for the bat. No, what they did was they took off the ripped shirt, grabbed the ball. They made like this freaking. They put the ball in the shirt, like so that it's like so that they can start swinging it around.
Oh
and they
my
started
God.
beating me with it. I wasn't even mad that they were beating my ass. I was just more impressed that they managed to make a weapon like that. Like I was like, you know what, crazy you guys.
That's some like street fighting shit, man.
Like legit, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not even mad. Credit to you guys. I'll take the beating.
मुझे याद है, I used to actually be really happy when my mom used to pick up वो rubber वाली जूतियाँ, because those were softer than her hands. Her hands would actually hurt much more.
Those are soft.
So I was like, I would actually be like really happy. Yes, juti time. Yeah, yeah, मजा आ रहा है. Of course, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, my little secret.
Like sometimes, you know, they would just throw whatever in their house, like in their hand. I'm pretty sure, like my mom once threw a knife at me, and I think she was like cutting onions or some shit. Yeah, she was just like cutting onions or some shit, and I was like maybe annoying her because I do that a lot. Like I tend to like like jokingly annoy people. And she just threw this knife at me, and like it like hit my like my leg or something. But I made this like huge deal out of this, like, oh, मैं मर सकता था, मेरी आँख में लग सकती थी. So I was just
fair point. Yeah, some of the parents do get really out of control. We used to have these neighbors, these Pakistani neighbors. तो वो आंटी जो थी ना, उनकी हर साल उनका नया बच्चा होता था. So she had like 8 kids lined up, and each kid was a year older, 1 year apart. That's it. Anyway, वो अलग बात है. लेकिन my sister used to go to their house to play, and they were still kids, right? तो वो एक बार उसकी बेटी ने पता नहीं क्या किया, made her mom mad. The mom threw a plate like a ninja star, like literally a ninja star. She threw a plate like
a frisbee.
Like a frisbee, but vertically, I guess. And when it hit my sister instead.
Ouch.
And,
shit.
Yeah. So my sister came back home, and she was crying a little bit, but it was then. So वो आंटी ने फिर भी lesson नहीं अपना सीखा. We found out later on she threw another plate, I guess on a different day, to her kid. Wow. When it hit his nose, broke his nose, and she started bleeding like crazy. Ouch. And she's like, "Oh, get me the towels." And they're trying to clean up the blood and everything. And this was so scary because in the U.S. you can get arrested and have your kids confiscated from you.
Arrested for that. Exactly.
You don't see your kids again. It's domestic abuse.
Social services pick it up. Yeah.
I think the auntie knew that was going to happen, so she went to Saudi Arabia.
What's most interesting is that उनका क्या यार, वो तो मार देंगे बच्चे को, फिर हो जाएगा दूसरा बच्चा.
Yeah.
You can't pull that shit off with the Pakistani parents. So, like, threatening them that you go to the police or some shit. They would just like take you to Pakistan and just be like, oh, up call karo kisi ko.
लेकिन यहाँ पे हुआ
it's
हुआ
not
है.
like
That's
that
the
here.
thing. Oh yeah, they have to be really careful here. Some of the more aggressive parents, like there's different levels of parenting. I think a lot of parents hit their kids, but they don't go extreme.
Yeah.
But some parents do, and many Pakistani parents have been arrested through their kids calling the cops or something. Or the neighbor calling the cops, for example. So there's quite a few parents sitting in like New York jails right now trying to plead their case and whatnot, and they honestly did it to themselves.
Ouch.
Some parents go really too far.
I like see this, like there's this irony, like यहाँ पाकिस्तान में बहुत सारे cases, I don't know तुम लोगों ने सुना होंगे या नहीं, लेकिन there's like cases के मदरसों में किस तरह बच्चों को मारा जाता है, and like pretty much I've a lot of the people have seen that, like मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ है, like कारी साहब से भी कारी साहब से नहीं पर बाजी से मार पड़ती थी, and like यहाँ पे people don't care, मारते हैं और कुछ तो बहुत brutally मारते हैं, videos viral गई हैं, it's like so much like जब videos viral जाती हैं, जब literally उस चीज को कहा जाता है, only then do they get arrested, and there's like 1,000 cases like that just go unidentified, किसी को पता नहीं चलता. Yeah, that word.
You're talking about public school teachers? I heard like in private schools they don't hit anymore.
नहीं, it's not just about private school. वो मदरसा होते हैं ना,
मदरसे जो होते हैं ना, exactly. They are the more messed up
That's
thing.
a battlefield, man.
Exactly.
Madrasa are battlefield.
Yeah, and I've seen like people who go like कि तुम बाज नहीं आ रहे ना, तुम रुको कारी साहब का भी मैसेज करते हो. And I'm like, dude.
I am a veteran of that. I swear to God, I am a veteran of that. Like legit, my teacher went like वो नहीं होती जो वायरिंग हुई भी होती है उसके ऊपर जो like वो एक प्लास्टिक की पट्टी सी होती है, like it's उसको कवर अप करने के लिए, it's like एक प्लास्टिक के ऊपर से कवरिंग लगी होती है वायरिंग को कवर करने के लिए कि वायरिंग हुई भी है उसको कवर करने के लिए. She went up and legit, अच्छा मैं like like मैं सबक सुना रही हूँ and कुरान मेरा सामने पड़ा हुआ है, and she goes, she just rips that off like off of the wall, and she मेरा सर जो है कुरान पे मारा है, कुरान पे legit, like कुरान सामने खुला हुआ है और उसके ऊपर सर मारा है, and then she starts whipping me like from on my back, and I go home with like bruises. And I didn't tell my mom, like उनको पता क्योंकि like she, and then I started sleep talking, तो उनको पता चल गया था anyways, but I didn't tell her, right? So that I was like,
why didn't you tell her?
यार क्या अपनी बेइज्जती खुद ही करानी है क्या आज बाजी ने मारा.
So बेइज्जती की क्या बात है यार? What if your parents could have handled that thing a lot better than you did?
Trust me, they wouldn't have. वो तो कहेंगे ऐसे हाँ काम करना था ना तुमने पे. So
actually, you know what, I do kind of support that. It's kind of the same at my end.
सबसे ज्यादा उसमें वो कि मैंने कहा यार तुम मुझे मारी हो whatever, कुरान पढ़ाने वाली हो यार, कुरान की तो तुम बेअदबी ना करो. She slammed my head on an open book of Quran. That was the most like जो चीज मुझे अफेक्ट की ना, like इस बात पे, and I spoke up. I was like बाजी आप मुझे मारे, मुझे कोई मसला नहीं है, लेकिन आप कुरान की बेअदबी खुद करनी है. And then she's like, अब तो मुझे सिखाओगे कि कुरान किस तरह से पढ़ते हैं. मैंने कहा जी मैं आपको सिखाऊंगी. At that moment, like I got whipped more and more. Like उसके बाद 2-4 दफा she used to whip me, and I was like, I don't care, but this is what you're doing is wrong. सर कुरान पे मारने की क्या जरूरत थी? That was like, but whatever, like it happens, and it's like so casual around here, and that's like the bad thing, like the worst thing. कि like parents are like, you know what? हाँ तुम्हारी गलती होगी.
No, when it comes to like religious stuff, I think parents are like, they're more chill. Like they wouldn't care if you got beaten if it's like religious.
Oh, exactly. And I don't know if somebody gets the reference, but like a lot of the time it's like that hadith. उस hadith का reference दे दिया जाता है कि जिस जगह पे like उस्ताद की मार पड़ती है वहाँ पे like दोज़ख की आग हराम होती है. What the like पता है I've heard that all my life.
Highly controversial statement of the day. That's so funny.
And one of my teachers just went like that, and she was like, यार तुम उस्ताद की जो ना पता नहीं, she was like पता नहीं इनका कॉल है तो ये है वो है कि उस्ताद की जब तक तुम जूतियां नहीं चाटोगे तो ये होगा ना. And I was like, what the heck? Like,
okay, that's another level.
Oh God, you don't know what people say. They just go like like they don't even know what they're saying. They just go for it.
At least going back to the whole introvert question, can we go around and answer that? I think, Saif, you didn't actually answer that. So are you introverted or extroverted or like somewhere in the middle?
Somewhere in the middle, more on the introverted side, I guess.
Okay. Hime?
I am an introvert, but I do like socializing and most of the extrovert stuff. But like I do enjoy my solitude.
Well, that's a misconception that people have of introverts anyway.
Misconception about introverts, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're antisocial.
Yeah.
It's a personality. Yeah. Muskaan?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, extroverts are basically, they get their energy from other people, where like introverts get their energy from like me time and like, from like being alone, like, in solitude. So by going by that definition, yes, I am an introvert, but I'm like, most of the time, like, I'm an ambivert. Let's just say I'm an ambivert. So yeah, somewhere in the middle.
Oh,
that's a thing.
Ambivert
yeah,
is
that's
a
a
thing.
word. I forgot that was a word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, somebody's mic really popped. Yeah, pop, 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 pop.
Oh well, discovery of a new word, I guess.
Yeah, ambivert. I knew that word existed. I just forgot about it.
Yeah.
So me, I like, मैं सारा time बाहर होती हूँ, सारा time दोस्तों में होती हूँ, सारा time लोगों के साथ होती हूँ. But then, there's a point where like, okay, done, I'm exhausted, और अब मुझे अकेले होना है, and then I just,
Yeah,
flee.
that makes sense. And then Sammy, what about you?
I don't know actually. मुझे कभी भी कुछ भी हो जाता है यार, मतलब.
Still figuring it out.
Yeah, it's so weird.
An introvert.
No, I don't say.
Most people are in the middle, though. To be honest,
I don't think it's a very hard thing. Like, like going by the definition, like, about the whole energy thing, that's what made it easy for me. Like, I didn't know until like I actually took psychology as a subject, and that's how like I knew, like I figured out, okay, like where do I get energy? Like, लोगों से मिलके मुझे ज्यादा खुशी मिलती है या अकेले में like अपने आप को like self-care makes me more happy.
People often call me out on this, oh Amaan, you say you don't have time, अगर तुम 5-6 घंटे आराम से कॉल पे बैठे हुए होते हो, क्या मतलब पास टाइम नहीं है? उनको ये बात समझ नहीं आती कि मैं कॉल पे बैठा हूँ, हाँ, मगर मैं उसके साथ काम भी कर रहा हूँ. Like I'm not staring at the screen 24/7, and even with texting, it's like जब भी मैं काम कर रहा होता है and I receive a text, I'll have to pick up my phone, reply, put my phone down, then I get another text and whatnot, and it's just a bit more of a hassle for me. So, and I've actually been called out so many times by my friends that I'm ignoring them and whatnot, when that's just completely not the case. It's just that
I swear to God, that's like, like I don't know why, but like people generally just assume that you're like ignore them or like बहुत ज़्यादा शोखे हो आप, मतलब legit आप कोई चीज है, आपको ईगो बहुत ज्यादा है आपकी या बहुत एटीट्यूड है आप में क्योंकि आप रिप्लाई नहीं करते हो.
Exactly.
यार पता है क्या, मैं सिर्फ लेजी हूँ. I just don't want to reply to you. That's legit it.
I don't want to reply. That's it.
मेरे हाथ नहीं चल रहे रिप्लाई करने के, कसम से.
मुझे लोग इतने बार कहते हैं कि यार तुम कितने बड़े बन गए हो, हमसे तो अब तुम बात ही नहीं करते ना, हम क्या तुम्हारे सामने अब. I'm like, भाई इस तरह का कोई सीन नहीं है. I just don't like texting. If you want to talk, and I've told them this, like if you want to talk to me, just call me. It'll be so much easier. Like if you like, that's all you have to do. Give me a missed call even if you don't want to waste your balance or whatever. Anything, like I'll call you. I don't mind. But texting is just something I've never been able to do. And I've been called out so many times कि oh तुम बहुत बड़े बन गए हो, तो हमसे बात ही नहीं करते. And I'm not even joking. I've had friends contact me who I haven't messaged for like weeks, going like, Amaan, are you okay? Is everything all right in your life? You haven't been talking at all. Is everything fine? I'm perfectly happy. I'm just like, yeah, I just don't text, guys. don't worry about it.
Going back to the topic, okay, so the other question I had was like, you guys sleep very little. I can tell that, like just a few hours, right? But what time do you sleep, and how do you balance that with your school schedules? For example, you have an 8 a.m. class in the morning.
I don't sleep.
You're staying up all night. Like, do you sleep in the afternoon or what?
Yeah, exactly. School से घर आके.
How people go through their day without sleeping, though. It's just
It varies from time to time throughout the year. when we're off during the days, we sleep all day. But when we do have school, sometimes most people like me and Muskaan, we just like go to school without any sleep. And when we come back, we
Come back,
sleep.
go to sleep.
So kind of breaks, like fragmented. Our sleep is really fragmented.
लेकिन ऐसे बुरा नहीं लगता. Like I used to feel pretty bad like when I'd be sleeping and the sun is out because I love the sun.
It does, like,
but that's just that's how like so for some people that's where the vampires theory comes in, right? That's where like kuch logon ko like sunlight se ajeeb hi koi wo hoti hai kyunki like they like just night, and sunlight don't really affect them. And as for you, to main sunlight achhi lagti hai, you like to be out in the sun. Some people just don't like it generally. They're like yaar kyun hai itni matlab light kyun hai itni. I'm one of those people. I'm like मैं अपने कमरे को भी dark रखती हूँ, बहुत ज़्यादा dark.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of vary between the two. Like I do like daylight, but then I do like nighttime.
Oh, I don't like daylight at all.
Yeah, same.
Do you guys get like 2 sleeps a night, or do you sleep like 2 separate times in a day, like 2 hours here, 3 hours there?
I like if I don't sleep in the night, like as I told you that I don't miss prayers, right? So for me, sleep is like always fragmented. Like even if I sleep like 20 minutes before Fajr, I have to get up in 20 minutes.
Yeah, once it becomes a habit, I guess it can't.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good. Yeah. What about you, Saif? What's your sleep schedule like?
I told you before, like I have to go to like bed at 4 a.m. That's my like given thing.
And you also have a job, right? So you also work.
I do, but it's part time, and I work on the weekends only. So see, that's a funny thing. Okay, so I go to sleep at 4 a.m. and I have to get at least like 7 or 8 hours of sleep every day because that's just my thing. I can't do that, the fragmented stuff and all that. So like 6 to 8 hours sleep, I like definitely get it every day.
Oh,
I'm also like very like flexible with my sleeping. So if I want to, I can actually like switch around and actually go to sleep early. So when I have to go to work, it's like so I do like a shift. It starts at 6 a.m. in the morning. So I have to be up by like 5 or like 4:30ish. So on that days, I actually go to sleep at like 10.
So your body's your body's actually not that sensitive, huh? You can make it fall asleep anytime.
Yeah, I can.
Wow.
I can be a bit flexible.
I can't do that, man. Yeah.
No, when it's too extreme, maybe not.
Night owls, I think all night owls can vary their routine of sleeping, but for larks, morning people, I think they can't do that.
Well, I'm not a morning person. I'm still a night owl, but I'm forced to follow morning schedules because I have a job.
You could do that with practice, if you start like with small naps, like if you practice naps. So that's
if you wake up at night, you can still feel active, but for morning people, they just can't feel active at night. They just don't feel alert. So that's kind of a bonus point for night owls.
That is a big one, yeah. Like even now, my job starts like 8 in the morning, but I can't sleep before midnight ever. I go to bed at 12 because I know even if I go to bed at 10, I won't be able to sleep. So 12 it is. So I get like 6 hours of sleep usually per night. But yeah, definitely don't stay up that late as you guys anymore. I just can't. So
yeah, you can't do that for the working schedule. Like
unfortunately. Yeah, what about you, Sam? Yeah, like what's your schedule like? So if you stay up all night, how do you manage it?
I actually don't sleep in the day because it's gonna make my mom suspicious. First off, she's gonna be like, "तुम यार 12 बजे सबको कमरे से भगा देते हो, and then तुम्हारी नींद पूरी नहीं हो रही, क्या चक्कर है ये?" And so what I like, my usual timing of sleeping is at about 5 or 6. वही फजर की timing है.
Okay, and then when do you wake up?
I wake up at like 8 or 9.
Wow, like 2 घंटे सो के तुम स्कूल चले जाते हो.
Yeah, it's like from 6 to 9 or like 5 to 8 or sometimes like 6 to 8.
So it's like 2-3 hours. Muskaan, you mentioned something about like staying up 3 days in a row. Is that usual for you? Like you don't sleep for days in a row?
Yeah, for me, because like I'm just low on melatonin really, but like yes, I have like clinical insomnia, so for me it's just like a condition, right? So yeah, that is the kind of thing.
उसके कोई side effects महसूस होते हैं? Like when you stay up that long?
Fatigue.
Let's say
all the
you
time.
stayed up like 2 days in a row. You're just tired all the time?
Yeah, fatigue and like migraine all the time. That's just the common ones, and like most of the time, like so for me, how I tackle that is basically when I can't sleep all the time, at least what I do is I try to like close my eyes and just have someone for me, that's my niece, have her like wo bas mera sar daba de. And that's how I cope with it. At least if I'm not sleeping, I'm stimulating like a sleeping position, so that kind of like a little bit kind of helps with like the next moment when I open my eyes at least are a bit more relaxed, so like I can focus on at least what I'm like doing. So that's how I work on those days when I'm like on 3 days of no sleep and all. So yeah, that's how that works.
Got it.
That's true.
So at this time, I asked Hime to share some of her research. She had done some research around sleeping schedules and patterns, and I just asked her to share some of those facts with us.
Whether we're a night owl or a morning person, that's like basically preordained by our genes. So we can't decide if we're a night owl or a morning person. So basically, there's this gene. It's called like CRY1, which helps control our circadian clock. Like circadian clock is when we feel most awake, right?
Yeah.
So night owls have a variant of this gene. Like our gene, this gene is mutant. So it's basically so we're a mutant like
we're like X-Men
section.
Turtles.
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I don't know because so many young people are night owls now, so I don't know if it's really genetic. Well, their parents were not, but necessarily. I think it's just a lifestyle now.
Carry the recessive gene, and then if it multiplies, your gene gets muted. So that kind of so this causes insomnia, and actually there is a word for like why we stay up later than usual. It's called like delayed sleep phase disorder. Actually a thing.
It may be passed out to us by our ancestors.
That is the reason.
Tell me this, like I don't know if like anybody else has noticed this, but for me, like I have noticed this like in the rural areas, like like I go with like my cousin because he's like he does a lot of field work, and a lot of the time I like to go with him just like for and I noticed one thing that when you go into rural areas, people actually have a very good sleep routine there. Like if it is just genes, we did also, like for me personally, my family, we started like in rural areas, right? So if it is like in the gene, why is it that always like the elders, they always like they don't stay up, like they actually have a pretty good sleep routine. जब भी बड़ों को देखो वो हमेशा वो बेचारे 10 बजे तक सो जाते हैं यार. I don't see anybody like अपने बड़ों में से, या मैंने कभी अपने grandparents को या parents को देखा हो कि like वो रात रात को जाग रहे हैं क्या. I've only seen it like अपनी like इस generation में like people are staying up and like
The reason might be because they're old, okay? They're usually tired nowadays. We are the young generation,
but
and
even in their own youth, like even if when you ask them and like in their own youth, they're like, why do we even have to stay up like in the night? Like वही Amaan just like Amaan said कि क्या नाम है, their lifestyles weren't like उनके पास कोई वजह नहीं थी रात को जागने की. तो exactly like that, it came coming from that same perspective. Like वो भी अपने टाइम में 10 बजे तक I think वो भी तब भी उनकी sleep routine वही थी जो उनकी अब है. It doesn't really have anything to do with like age or like maybe a little bit, but like not a lot.
But it's more of a preference, isn't it? Though you can't really like, maybe they don't get to act on that preference. Maybe that they've always been sleeping on time, so they don't actually have an experience with it, or they have jobs and stuff. So.
So the 8-hour sleeping schedule, how like your doctor always tells you you should get 8 hours of sleep, that's actually made up too. Like that's just artificially, humanly constructed. What I've actually read is historically humans, like for the last 10,000 years at least, we always had 2 sleeps, not 1. So there was always like 4 hours in the night.
Oh, okay.
And 3 hours, 2-3 hours in the afternoon or something, you know? So it would be like 6 hours total, like 4 hours in the night and 2 hours in the afternoon. And that's because, like, if you think about it, we didn't really have houses for a long time. People didn't really have safety, so they had to stay awake to protect themselves against animals and stuff. So people always got fragmented sleep, like growing up, like hunters and gatherers and stuff. The 8 hour sleep was constructed so that people could fall into a more corporate friendly lifestyle. You get like 1/3 of the day to yourself to sleep, 1/3 of the day to work, and 1/3 of the day for yourself, like just, you know, dinner and stuff with your family.
I think I've read about it, and it said something about that if you're having about 6 to 7 hours of sleep, it's an ideal sleep. But if you're having sleep about like 8 to 9 hours, that's a healthy sleep.
Well, you can still get 8 hours of sleep, but fragmented. You know, you don't have to do it all at once. That's the point.
Like science says, like 8 hours is necessary because we sleep in 2 phases. The first phase concentrates on getting the toxins out of our body and just clearing up our metabolism, and the second phase concentrates on like absorbing the information we took in during the day. Like really, so the first phase is our body, and the second is our mind. So I think that's why scientists say 6 to 8 hours is necessary.
Yeah, I think the hours are fine. The hours make sense. More about, do you need it all at once necessarily? You know, like even Islam, maybe there's a concept of Galula, like you're supposed to sleep in the afternoon a little bit. And I never really understood it. I was like, you know, पता नहीं क्यों जबरदस्ती सुलाने की कोशिश करते हैं. Galula, I think that's how it's pronounced.
It's a tradition. Like mere abba ji, yeah, exactly. Like my family, man, it's like so in.
They used to force the kids to sleep in the afternoon, and
we still do.
Yeah, when I went to Pakistan, they would, like, just for the summer breaks, they would force us to sleep, and I'd be like, we never did this in America. And then I started sleeping in the afternoon too.
Oh, that was a गर्मी thing, like गर्मी.
यार exactly, यहाँ पे गर्मी इतनी ज्यादा होती है, दोपहर को कोई काम नहीं होता, like बंदा जाकर सो ही जाए ऐसी चला के कसम से, like क्योंकि दोपहर में गर्मी इतनी होती है ना, especially when it's like 4 or 5 p.m. Ouch.
Okay, so I was saying one of the reasons that Islam says to actually sleep in the afternoon as well, the time period that Islam mentioned to sleep in is before Fajr, like waking up at Fajr and actually reciting Quran or getting knowledge. And then sleeping before like an hour or two before Maghrib. And then waking up at Maghrib and doing that thing again, because those 2 times, Fajr and Maghrib, are the time where your mind actually has the power to actually learn stuff faster than the other periods in the day. And I don't know if you know this, but Hafiz, like those people, they do most of the learning in like Fajr and Maghrib, because that's the time.
Only kind of works when you've slept before Fajr, right? Not when you've like been awake all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because matlab Fajr ki azan ka matlab hi hai कि wake up and come towards success.
Yeah, true. As-salatu khayrun min an-nawm. So yeah, the salah is better than sleep.
Yeah.
Salah is better than
मतलब इस्लाम में जो कहा गया है सोने का, it's like after Isha and waking up at Fajr and then continuing your day and then just having 1 hour of sleep before Maghrib. It's something like that. It does require sleeping before Fajr, because then there's like no use of the actual thing of learning stuff, and then the azan is going to be of no use, like of no mean actually.
True.
In this last segment of this episode, Sam/Sami had some questions for me regarding my sleep patterns, so I went ahead and answered those, and then we wrapped it up.
Yeah, so have you been a kid who used to stay up at night when you were younger?
Yes, but I was a little different. I used to stay up till like 3-4 in the morning, but I always made it my mission to never like sleep past 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, you know? So even if I stayed up late, I would just pay it off myself, like basically punish myself by just sleeping less and try to get as much sun as possible.
So if you had to choose one of these again, to have the days when you used to stay up at night, or to actually have these days where you actually have to sleep early and wake up early, so you have to go to work, and like you have a proper routine.
Yeah.
Which one would you choose? Like the old days or?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think if I think about it, like I don't like my current setup because I'm always committed to a time, and I hate times. Like I hate deadlines and stuff. Like you have to wake up at a certain hour because your company needs you to be there and stuff. I don't like that. But at the same time, it keeps my life structured. So that's the thing. Like for example, today I work from home. That's why I'm talking to you guys, because I was able to like flex my work schedule a little bit, so I could just talk to you guys while I did my work earlier. So that feels really nice. But for most of the day, I felt like a bum. Like I just didn't do much. Right after this, I'm gonna go for a walk before the sun goes down, and then I'm gonna go hit the gym, and I'll feel like I got something done in the day.
Yeah.
To me, it was just like I just didn't feel productive. If I didn't do a single thing in a certain day, I just that was just me though.
True. No, that's true. That's what most of us, I think.
Mm-hmm. If you're studying and stuff, like if you guys, like Amaan was here earlier and he was talking about just studying and keeping busy, multitasking at night, right? That kept him busy, so that kept him feeling productive. So he didn't feel guilty to his parents, and that's a really good feeling to have when your parents come to you and you're like, beta, don't you feel bad about like doing this to yourself? But when you feel absolutely validated that what you're doing is right because you can justify it, hey, I'm actually studying while I talk to my friends, then that feels really good. But then at a certain point, like you can lie to your parents, but you can't lie to yourself, right? You can lie to your parents like I'm productive, but to yourself you're like, man, I'm just playing video games all night, which is okay. It's fine.
Most people do though. I don't think people are that productive at night. Like,
yes, it's lying to yourself most of the time.
Maybe, but like I actually openly admit whenever I used to study, or even whenever I'm working on like binge projects, which I have to, like this last weekend I worked, right? I never work like more than an hour without taking a break in between or distracting myself, procrastinating a little bit. And I actually like that. Like otherwise I can't work. I'm not the type of guy who used to go to the library and just crash study for 8 hours because my brain just doesn't absorb information that way. So it works out pretty well for me when I like pace myself or slack off at night, watch, a YouTube video, laugh at something funny, and then go back to studying. Then take a little bit more time to study, and then take a little bit more break. Like you're right, like you're not absolutely productive at night all the time.
I think I'm never productive, to be honest.
Well, that's a different problem.
I can't recall the last time I actually did something at night. Yeah, it's usually I procrastinate a lot, so I like waste a lot of time at night. So even now, I'm like, I think when we get off, I'm probably gonna go like play something. Even it came to a point that even like playing something would like I felt like when I'm playing something, I'm actually doing something with my night. Because most of the time it's just like like surfing on the web and just like 4 hours and just going to sleep. Even like playing something actually feels like productive. But I don't know, like I kind of like the fact that I can like slip into. I can be like, if I'm doing 9 to 5, I can easily slip into that. So I think that's good.
Well, finally, as I said at the beginning of this episode, we stopped talking at around Fajr time. A lot of people's parents started waking up and the azan hit, so we had to stop. This was the end of the discussion. Hope you liked this episode and stay in touch. We'll be back next time. Yeah, we talked a lot. This is great, but it's going to take so much to edit this, but it was really fun.
Oh,
Sounds
all right.
good. We're done anyway.
Okay, so like it was fun.
Really fun. Yeah.
Fun.
Thanks for joining, guys.
Kind of went.
Yeah.